Welcome to Chef Richard's Kitchen. I'm Chef Richard Miller. Today we're going to make a comfort food, or we're going to make comfort food with a little twist on it. What we're going to do today is we're going to make a roast chicken. But what we're going to do to give it a little different twist is we're going to make a Dijon herb butter that we're going to rub over it before we roast it. So we're going to do this in a couple of different phases. The first phase, and I always recommend doing this with poultry or pork, is brine it. And what we're going to do to brine it is just take some salt and a little bit of sugar, put it in with some water, throw it in, with the bird, and let it sit there for probably, anywhere between 45 minutes and an hour, something like that. Let the chicken kind of absorb the water in there, and with the salt in there, it'll encourage it to stay. All right, it won't taste of salt, but what it will do is it will kind of prevent the moisture from coming back out of there. So the first thing we want to start out with is a pretty good sized bag. I've got about a 5 or 6 pound chicken, which is usually a little bit bigger than what I prefer, but they had these on sale down at the grocery store. Buy one, get one free. Hey, who can resist that? So I went ahead and I got it. So all right, let's go ahead and start the brine. And what I'm doing is I've got probably about 3 cups of water here, and I'm going to put in probably a couple of tablespoons of kosher salt, and probably about the same of sugar. And I'm going to whisk this around until it's dissolving. All right. All right, now let's go ahead and let's take the chicken. And the chicken, I've gone ahead and I've cut off all of the extra, big globs of fat that's in there. One thing to make sure you do is reach inside there and make sure there are no giblets in there where they put the gizzard, the heart, neck, things like that in there. In this case, it didn't have it. I was wondering what, but the package said some giblets may be missing. Well, they were, all of them, which is fine. But what do you use the giblets for? You can make stock with them, and we're probably going to do that on a different episode. But for right now, we're just going to do the chicken. All right, let's take our chicken. I took it out of the bag. I took it out of its bag and I rinsed it off real good while I was taking and cutting off all of the extra fat. So it's a good idea to wash it off. We're going to cook it well anyway, but if that's just kind of how I'm fussy. All right. Okay, let's pour the brine into the bag. Kind of purge as much of the air as we can get out of it. All right, now let's go ahead and let's put it in the refrigerator for a while. And I'll probably be back in probably 45 minutes to an hour, something like that. And at that point, we're going to go ahead and we're going to make our butter rub for this. And we'll put that on the chicken, then we'll go ahead and we'll bake it. So, give me a little bit, I'll be right back. Alright, now, while the chicken's brining, let's go ahead and let's make the herb Dijon sauce. And what I have here is I'm starting out with a cup of butter or 2 sticks. And these have to be at room temperature because we want to blend them in. And if the truth was known, yes, I did cheat and use a microwave. Alright, now we're going to put in, probably about, a couple teaspoons of fresh rosemary. Did I say teaspoons? Tablespoons. A couple of tablespoons of fresh parsley. Now I put in a tablespoon each of fresh thyme and fresh sage, but I don't have any, so instead I'm substituting a teaspoon of dried. There's the dried thyme, the dried sage. Alright, now I'm going to be putting in the zest of probably a half lemon, something like that. And it could be that we'll use the rest of this later. And of course, a couple of tablespoons of Dijon mustard. Alright, now let's go ahead and let's just blend this all in. Now, notice I didn't throw any salt in here as yet. The big reason is because this was salted butter. And I don't want to over salt this. So I'm just going to wait until the end. I'm going to taste a little bit of it. If it's too salt, or if it's not salty enough, we can add some. If it is, great, because we sure can't take it out. You can taste the Dijon, you can taste the lemons, you can taste the herbs. It does need a little salt. Salt is one of those things that if you use it in very small amounts, it brightens up the flavor, very much like maybe a little cayenne pepper or something like that. You don't want to put it in enough that it starts tasting salty, but what you want to do is you want to use it to enhance the flavors. So, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this in the refrigerator because I want to let it set up for probably about 20 minutes or so. And at that point, we're going to go ahead and we're going to rub down the chicken and we're going to put it in the oven. So, I'll be right back. I promise. Okay, I've taken the chicken out of the refrigerator. I've taken it out of the brine. I've put it on a towel down here. because really I want to get a lot of this moisture off of it. All right. There. Now, what I want to do is I want to take and I want to make a couple of cuts in here and in here, because what I want to do is I want to take and I want to put this herb butter underneath the skin. All right, so let's take some of our butter. We're going to put that in the bird. And I also want to make sure that I get some down in the legs as well as on the thighs. Put this right down into where the thigh is going. Is this? Put this right down by the thighs. Now let's go ahead and let's take and even this out. I think I could use just a little bit more over it here. Okay. Now we'll just give a little rub on the outside, and this isn't going to stick real well, but we can kind of get it on there. There. All right, let me wash my hands here. All right, now the last thing we want to do is I want to take and I want to put a couple of lemon slices. Okay. All right. This will leave us a little lemon slice for garnish later on. Now, if you want, you can take the a little bit of that lemon rind, sprinkle that on top. Just a tad bit of pepper on that. All right, now I've gone ahead and I've prepared a little bit bigger dish for this, and so I'm going to go ahead and use it. Now let's go ahead, and I've got the oven set at 375 degrees. Let me go ahead and put it in here. This is supposed to take about 20 minutes per pound. That's going to 6 pounds, you know. We're looking at probably a couple and a half hours for this. So I want to put it in just to kind of get it going a little bit. I'll probably cover it, and then kind of as the last thing we do before we take it out, I'll probably up the heat a little bit and take off the cover to kind of brown the skin. So let's go ahead and put it in the oven now. Okay, I've got it set for about 2 hours, so let's go ahead and let the bird get happy in there, and I'll see when it's about done. Don't go away. We're all going to come back again. I hope you do too. Okay, it's been about 2 hours, so let's go ahead and pull the chicken out of the oven. We want to take its temperature, probably in the thickest part of the thigh. And we want to make sure that it's up to about 170 degrees. If it is, it's done. We're gonna let it rest for about 15 minutes. So let's go ahead and take it out. There. As you can see, we've got a very nice crispy skin. Let's go ahead and put our thermometer in. Actually, we're about 180 some degrees, so we're fine. Now, let's go ahead and let the chicken rest over here for about 15 minutes. Then we'll go ahead and slice it and plate it. So, let me come back in about 15 minutes. Okay, the chicken's been out of the oven and it's rested for about 20 minutes now. So let's go ahead and let's just carve a piece off of this. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the wing off first. And the leg. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and take the lemons off. And now I'm going to go ahead and I want to come down and I want to cut into the breast down here, kind of on a diagonal. Okay. As you can look and see in here, this is very, very, very moist. And so I have a plate here and I have some saffron rice, which by the way, I gave the recipe on how to do this in a previous episode. So let's go ahead and let's plate. Let me take and I'm going to put down just a tad of lettuce here that we can put our chicken on. All right. I'm going to put just a little bit of our saffron rice. And I'm also going to take, and I was baking this bread while I was waiting for the chicken. And so what I'm going to do with the bread, remember the butter that we had that we used under the chicken? I would go ahead and make gravy, out of this, and that's just take the juices and take some flour, mix it in there with it till it thickens up. In this case, I'm just going to take some of this, the butter that we cooked the chicken in, and just put that over the top. Okay. If you want to also go ahead and garnish a little bit, remember the lemons, that we took out, we could also use for that. That would probably even do better than the parsley on there. And here we are. Here we have a roast chicken, saffron rice, and Italian bread. So give this a try. I hope you do try it. This chicken, by the way, is delicious. If you do, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to taste it now anyway, even though I have, because I always tell you, make sure you do taste it. It's delicious. And this was right under the skin. So this is where I get the most lemon and the most herb flavor. And while it's very pronounced, it doesn't hit you in the face with it either. It's very mellow, very good, and of course the chicken is extremely moist. So make sure that you brine it before you cook it. So once again, thank you for joining me today. I hope you like it. I hope you give this a try. And if you do, leave me a comment on how it came out, what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it, or send me an email at chefrdmiller@att.net. So, until next time, remember, take care, God bless. For heaven's sakes, cooking should always be fun. I enjoy doing this, so will you. I'll see you next episode.